equal opportunity employer. All aspiring candidates are therefore encouraged to apply. The closing date for receipt of applications will be 20 October 2025. Applications accompanied by a detailed CV should be addressed to the following: Chief Human Resources Officer, Rural Electrification Fund, 6th floor, Megawatt House, 44 Samora Machel Avenue, Harare, or email riahr@rea.co.zw.
Your time is 8 p.m. Hello and welcome. You're watching Wednesday's edition of Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime with me, Wadzanai Sansole. These are the stories you can look forward to this evening. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is in Nairobi, Kenya, for the 24th Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Heads of State and Government Summit. He arrived in the East African country this afternoon, and we shall be giving you more details on that story here on Newsplus. Stay tuned for the latest on the probe by the Human Rights Commission on Harare's alleged poor service delivery. Also on Newsplus, we give you reactions from the Zimbabwean community based in South Africa following the extension of the Zimbabwe exemption permit for another 18 months by the South African government. And in sport, Munetsi backs Warriors to step up against Bafana Bafana. We now take a closer look at the stories making the headlines. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is in Nairobi, Kenya for the 24th Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Heads of State and Government Summit. The gathering comes as Zimbabwe prepares to assume the bloc's chairmanship, a development that underscores Harare's growing influence in shaping Africa's economic future. We give you more in the following report.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa touched down in Nairobi on Tuesday afternoon ahead of the 24th COMESA Summit, a high-level meeting that brings together regional leaders to discuss economic integration and trade facilitation across Africa. The summit is running under the theme, Leveraging Digitalization to Deepen Regional Value Chains for Sustainable and Inclusive Growth. Formed more than 30 years ago as the Preferential Trade Area, COMESA is now a major regional economic community, uniting 21 countries from Egypt to Zimbabwe, representing a market of over 500 million people. The bloc plays a crucial role in driving cross-border trade, investment, and regional industrialization, key steps in Africa's broader integration agenda.
And as you know, Zimbabwe's foreign policy, first of all, is to integrate into Africa. Not only integrate politically, but integrate economically. And our key foreign policy is Zimbabwe is open for business. We're a friend to all and an enemy to none, but most of all, that Africa should build this continent for the prosperity and of the people of the continent.
Kenya this year assumes the rotating chairmanship of COMESA from Burundi, with Zimbabwe taking over as the incoming chair. This means Harare will host the next Heads of State Summit and steer COMESA's agenda from 2026 to 2027.
He will be elected into the bureau of COMESA, which consists of the outgoing chair, who is Burundi, and the current chair, Kenya, and the incoming chair, Zimbabwe. He is again taking over the running of COMESA, which is showing the dedication of Zimbabwe to Pan-African institutions and its contribution, the Zimbabwe's contribution as a Pan-African country to the Pan-African institutions.
Zimbabwe's role within COMESA reflects its broader economic diplomacy. Of late, the government has prioritized ease of doing business, reviewing taxes and licenses to attract investment and make regional trade more seamless.
Bringing down tariff and non-tariff barriers, integrating into the continent. As you know, His Excellency the President is currently reviewing all taxes and licenses in order to promote the ease of doing business.
By harmonizing digital regulations and reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers, Harare hopes to position itself and the region as a hub for technology-driven growth and industrial competitiveness.
In other news, the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission is investigating the City of Harare's operations concerning the rights of residents in service delivery. And today, city officials and some stakeholders accompanied Human Rights Commission Chairperson Fungai Jesse Madome on a tour of failed sewage works in Glenview and Morton Jeffrey Waterworks. We get more details from our correspondent Latwa Nyangu.
The tour was a response to a recent hearing conducted by the Commission with the State Fathers regarding the contamination of Lake Chuero, a cholera outbreak in Harare, and the unfortunate deaths of cancer workers at the sewage treatment plant. The hearing also touched on the death of one Clara Ngombe, who fell into an uncovered trench in Mbares Madzima Road. The unfortunate incident raised alarm from the Commission, with Majome saying they are empowered to summon the officials and make some recommendations in the event they find some gaps which undermine the enjoyment of human rights.
When we complete our investigations, which are objective, and we really dig through and are thorough about it and are fair and objective, we make recommendations. In terms of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, we then make recommendations for the rectification of any issues that we would have found that either undermine the enjoyment of human rights or the enjoyment of administrative justice. So we make recommendations. And in terms of the act, our recommendations are to the relevant minister, because as you know, Zimbabwe is a country governed by the rule of law. And so in every arena of law, there are acts of parliament for a particular area, and they are administered by specific ministers that are assigned by His Excellency the President to administer that act and to make sure things work. So we make recommendations to those.
Majome also acknowledged challenges the city is facing and called for financial support to ensure the rights of residents are upheld. She emphasized the need for a comprehensive strategy to address these issues effectively.
We also recommend right through, for example, financing, because for example here, the capacity of the under optimum operating capacity of the waterworks and the sewage works is evidently linked to, as we saw, the issue of funding or even greater capacity of water sources to be harnessed to Harare. So we make recommendations across the whole.
The State Fathers, we have been fighting challenges of sewer pipe bursts, water shortages, poor waste management, and clogged drainage systems, promised to comply with the Commission's recommendations. Acting Town Clerk Engineer Pakamele Mabena said the investigations are not a witch hunt, and the Council will await the Commission's findings.
In terms of purification of water, it's the major issue is with the quality of our raw water, which has deteriorated, especially during the hot season when we have a lot of algae blooms in the lake, which means that we have to use more chemicals. It means that our production goes down because the amount of we have to waste a lot of clean water in order to keep the plant running. So that's our number one. Number two issue is the constant breakdowns. Some areas of the plant need complete refurbishment, and we also need finance.
As investigations by the Commission continue, residents hope the findings and recommendations thereafter will usher a new refreshing era of improved service delivery. It's often said that the true measure of a community lies not in the promises made by the authorities, but in the tangible improvements experienced by the residents. Latwo Nyangu for ZN Prime at Morton Jeffrey.
We move on from that story on poor service delivery in Harare and now take a look at what's happening in the media space. The government is finalizing a media literacy and information strategy designed to curb misinformation, strengthen fact-checking, and promote ethical reporting. The second validation meeting of the strategy was held in Harare this Wednesday, drawing diverse stakeholders from across the media and communication spectrum.
The media literacy and information strategy seeks to, among other things, equip citizens with the tools to critically assess content, counter misinformation, and foster responsible media consumption.
Let us commit to fostering an environment where truth travels faster than rumors, providing every Zimbabwean with the knowledge needed to thrive. It is crucial that our citizens receive factual and precise updates to make informed decisions.
Stakeholders met in Harare to review and refine the draft document, aligning it with national aspirations for critical thinking and integrity in communication.
The only way the populace can be aligned to Vision 2030 is when they get information. And when they get that information, they have to consume it with a skeptical and analytical eye. That which separates the fake and the correct, the biased and the fair.
The strategy, developed in partnership with UNESCO, underscores the importance of building an informed and media literate society capable of navigating today's complex information landscape.
The good thing is the policy documents and the policy framework and the strategy that we have been discussing. By the way, we have been privileged also to participate in the development of the national AI strategy for Zimbabwe. And the good thing is all of this really targeting the citizens and looking, focused on the citizens.
Media players say the initiative is timely, particularly as AI-generated content increasingly blurs the line between fact and fiction.
Perhaps as we work on this policy, one thing to focus on is there is an urban and rural divide that is already there in terms of literacy. Whether it's the legacy media or digital media, the gap is wide.
The Zimbabwe Media Commission has commended the consultative approach, noting that a media literate public contributes to democracy and accountability.
This program, as meaningful as it ought to be, as we strive towards building a knowledgeable citizenry, a citizen that can meaningfully contribute and participate in terms of media development, economic development, community development, and even an enhancement of our own skills.
With the finalization of the media literacy and information strategy, Zimbabwe moves closer to a more discerning, informed, and ethically guided information system. Ibn Mabunda for ZTN Prime in Harare.
South Africa's Ministry of Home Affairs has announced a further extension of the Zimbabwe Exemption Permit, the ZEP program, granting thousands of Zimbabwean nationals more time to regularize their stay in the country. This announcement, made through a government gazette and detailed under Immigration Directive number 21 of 2025, confirmed that the validity of the permits, some of which were set to expire at the end of November this year, has been extended until May 28, 2027. Now, the extension was granted in accordance with Section 31(2)(b) of South Africa's Immigration Act, ensuring continued legal status for Zimbabwean permit holders while broader immigration policy measures are implemented. Now, ZTN Prime caught up with the Zimbabwean community in South Africa to get their reactions to this extension.
We do welcome this announcement. Once again, it is a short-time arrangement as a temporary measure while the Immigration Board looks into this, and the consultations, as was prescribed by the courts, is being done. However, it also helps give legal status to all ZTP holders who found themselves uncertain of the future. There was a lot of panic onto what is going to be done. We do see, though, that it also brings a lot of confusion to how people should attend to these matters, because a lot of people applied for their waivers and trying to transition to mainstream permits. Some waivers are still not out. Some general work permits have been rejected. So it's a bit of a mixed reaction from us. While we welcome the generosity of the South African government, we still find that our people face a lot of other issues that are relating to this special dispensation.
Zimbabwe and Japan partnered to curb mining pollution. That story right ahead.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind on it.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
This is Newsplus, and we're coming to you live from Harare this Wednesday evening. Now, still on our local stories, Transport and Infrastructural Development Minister Felix Mona has emphasized the importance of infrastructure as the backbone of sustainable development. He was speaking at the official opening of AfriConfex 2025 in Bulawayo, and the minister highlighted government's efforts under President Mnangagwa to revitalize the sector through corrective policy measures and accelerated roadworks. Details in the following report.
Transport Minister Mona says the decision to host the two expos together was a progressive step, given the strong link between infrastructure and mining. He highlighted infrastructure as a key driver of inclusive growth, underpinning poverty reduction, job creation, and economic transformation. The minister also stressed that efficient transport, housing, energy, and communication systems are critical for prosperity.
Recognizes that efficient infrastructure delivery will be key in the realization of national priorities and overall socio-economic development. Thus, the country targets the restoration of basic infrastructure services such as roads, energy, transport, water and sanitation, technology and housing.
The Zimbabwe Construction Industry Association used the platform to call for greater investment in skills development and quality assurance. The association said the growth of informal contractors risks undermining standards and urged for certification of artisanal workers.
We are pushing for innovative financial models, perhaps subsidized lending windows or guarantees to overcome the crippling cost of capital that prevents technology upgrades. Financial de-risking, working with banks, development finance institutions to lower the cost of capital to complete local SMEs. And Find Voice, ZCIX as the umbrella body, bringing together professionals from engineering, architecture, and contracting like Santos and ZBCA to speak with powerful voice to the government and regional bodies.
ZITF board chairperson Dr. Busisa Moyo said AfriConfex is growing into a critical platform for regional dialogue on infrastructure.
It is out of this strategic mandate, guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, that the AfriConfex was conceived to serve, stimulate, and contribute fundamentally to the growth of the infrastructure and built environment sector. When this event was launched in 2022, its initial focus was on exploring industrial linkages in the mining value chain. The The subsequent 2024 edition highlighted the imperative to build sustainable infrastructure for resilient economic growth, essential for a thriving Africa.
Sustainability also came into focus, with property developer and sustainability consultant Mike Juru urging the sector to embrace green building and climate-smart designs to ensure long-term resilience.
But the truth is, smartest move we can make today is to build tomorrow's climate, not yesterday's comfort. The world around us is shifting. We're all aware of the droughts, the floods, rising temperatures. They are no longer focused, but they are fixtures, and yet we continue designing as if the environment will somehow pause for us to catch up. Sustainability, ESG, and corporate responsibility, these aren't trendy conversations. They are survival conversations. They are economic conversations. They decide whether Zimbabwe we talk about in Vision 2030 will be habitable or just aspirational.
International players commended Zimbabwe for the efforts. South African delegate Nikki Kota praised Zimbabwe's modernization efforts and said regional collaboration in the built environment presents new opportunities.
Of which is the UTT division is one of the divisions that I head up in South Africa and responsible for Africa. So we've decided to come participate at the mine intro because we can see the potential that it offers us to network within the mining industry and offer our products that we've got to offer for the industry. And hopefully by networking with this mining intro, we can become sustainable in terms of offering for our products, not just for Zimbabwe, but also then offer the products and the solutions that we have as a company through our partners to the mining industry.
The three-day AfriConflict Summit has attracted local and international players, showcasing innovations driving Zimbabwe's infrastructure evolution. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
In other news, Japan has expressed readiness to partner with Zimbabwe in introducing advanced technology that detects environmental pollution during mining operations. And a lecture was held at the University of Zimbabwe by the Japan International Cooperation Agency to mark the beginning of this project. Let's get more in the following report.
The lecture on Japan's experience in the mining sector was delivered by Japanese academic Dr. Yoshitaka Osoi. The lecture explored measures implemented in Japan to minimize environmental degradation while pursuing development through mining. Addressing the gathering, Ambassador Yamanaka said Zimbabwe and Japan can learn from each other's experiences in the mining sector, particularly in balancing economic development with environmental protection.
The theme of the program today is of paramount importance to both Zimbabwe and Japan. While mining has become a key driver for economic growth and development, especially for Zimbabwe, it has at the same time created challenges on the environment, such as land degradation.
The lecture marks the first step towards a partnership between Zimbabwe and Japan. Through this partnership, Japan will introduce technology that detects environmental pollution in mining. The goal is to minimize or eliminate damage to the environment. The technology will be introduced through the University of Zimbabwe and extended to other institutions and government departments.
Today is the kind of initial day. Yes, actually the 1st of September is the starting point, but this is a kick-off event. In parallel with this JICA chair, we have the symposium, also the meeting within the project teams. So that's the first meeting for this project. So actually this today is the first day for the project. So it continues until 2030.
University of Zimbabwe Pro Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Professor Mamvuto, says the partnership will benefit the university as students are already conducting research on mining through the Innovation Hub. He added that the initiative complements government policy that promotes the translation of academic knowledge into goods and services during studies.
And our students actually into researching on technologies, use of AI in mining and so forth. We have got our innovation hub here, which focuses on innovation and industrialization. And this is where our students are actually generating ideas in terms of sustainable mining, coming up with innovations, coming up with new ideas and new advancements in mining.
Mining remains one of Zimbabwe's biggest economic drivers, but it has also left a trail of environmental damage, from polluted rivers to degraded landscapes. There have been growing calls for stronger measures to reduce such impacts and promote more sustainable mining practices. Shira Munjenjema for ZTN News in Harare.
From that Zimbabwe-Japan partnership report, we now take you to Bindura, where the Bindura University of Science Education has taken a major step in transforming eye care services in Zimbabwe. At its optometry clinic, a new lens production unit is now fully operational, capable of producing up to 1,200 pairs of optical lenses per day. Our Mashonaland Central correspondent filed this report.
Inside this modern facility at the Bindura University of Science Education, innovation is shaping the future of eye care. Here technology meets vision, literally, as Zimbabwe now produces optical lenses locally, from testing to the finished spectacles. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Eddie Mwenje, says the new lens production unit is a game changer.
But we combined it with the school. But it's part of the, industrial park production, the lens production. We are not only aiming here on the lenses, we are working on the development of frames already. We are working on the development of frames, and we've got a place there for the frames, and we will be producing frames so that we don't have to again order these frames from outside.
The process starts with the digital prescription entry. From there, the machines automatically select the correct tools and production parameters, ensuring accuracy and speed. Each lens goes through several stages: blocking, generation, polishing, edging, tinting, and finally, fitting into frames.
We envelop them in Buse branded lens envelopes, which are suitable for safety on the glass surface. So if we are supposed to also start here for them, we are able to do it. Yeah, so we take it through the process. These ones are for rimless, we call it the 3-pin kind of frames. Then these are edges, but the good news is that we also use all this in teaching our students. We use this, I think there was a full makeup board there, which we used on Friday.
Quality is non-negotiable. Each lens is inspected before packaging in BUSE branded envelopes, ready for distribution to clinics across Zimbabwe. The lab also produces specialized lenses, including polycarbonate lenses for miners and industrial workers, designed to resist impact from flying debris.
So in the case of plastic frames, we use this to do the adjustment. We apply a gentle heat so that we're able to adjust it to sit well on the face of the patient. Then this is also the automatic edger. The good news is that Vice Chancellor has given approval for us to buy a modernized one, which is able to cut more than 100 glasses in a day because of the expected inflows of orders that are going to come in.
Beyond service delivery, the facility doubles as a training ground for optometry students who now learn with real production equipment. Bindura University could be the country's clear vision for the future.
Zimbabwe continues to accelerate modernization and development with various road rehabilitation projects, including bridge construction and road dualization, taking shape in Masvingo province. The transformative construction projects aim to enhance mobility as well as increase access across the region.
Residents of Masvingo and motorists have long struggled with narrow access bridges and congested roads. The Harare Bay Bridge Highway, a major thoroughfare, has been a nightmare for drivers, with frequent traffic delays and heightened accidents risk. And as the rainy season approaches, concerns are mounting.
Taisangana nematambudziko ekuti kana mvura ikanayatisa taidzokera kumba tinoshawa popinda napo. Bridge kune mota dzakazarisa panapa pacho panenge pasingapindiki.
Kugadzika kwebridge rediri tinofara zvikuru nokuti tatisingakwanisi kunyasa kupesana nevemota nokuti chibridge chacho chitoko. Isu ana gogo taita seri chatowira mukatumu nokuti chacho chitoko. Tatomira kusvika dzapera mota kuti tizopinda vesu chembere nokuti chachiri chibridge chitoko chichitoka kutowira mugwizumu. Zvikuru kana kwakazara nemvura rari dambudziko kuriswa nagogo.
Slow traffic and traffic jams are typical concerns that are shared by most motorists who frequently use the Biza Bay Bridge Masvingo route. And to address these challenges, the government has initiated various infrastructure development projects, including the construction of the Mucheke River Bridge.
Periods. The bridge that we have there is narrow, so it means that we have traffic build up, and of course that leads to inefficiency where the transport network is concerned. So some of the projects that we are doing, or some of the projects that we are executing as a ministry, are meant to cut on transport time and improve efficiency.
Remarkable strides in road construction currently underway in Masvingo province are expected to improve the country's transport network, with more set to be completed before the rain season starts.
Here in Masvingo, we are working on a mini interchange where international traffic or traffic that doesn't need to go into Masvingo town will go through a bypass. We are also upgrading the bridge at Chevron to remove congestion that we are currently facing within Masvingo. And as we progress, we are also covering Mwenezi, Gundu, all the way to Bay Bridge.
Residents who have long struggled with these narrow bridges are hoping to celebrate the benefits of these lasting improvements very soon.
Asi ndo kumusha kwangu muno indogara kwa Harare, asi ndikufara ndikuona mukati meMasvingo, ndikuona kugadzirwa kwebridge reMasvingo norasa kuti rikagadzirwa usakapera kwegore papa ndofanira pera rochasara iko nosasara ngoti vachingodira concrete chete pamusoro asi rikapera ndorasa kuti transport dzemuMasvingo ichafamba zvakanaka.
These developments reflect steady progress in the government's efforts to improve and modernize the country's infrastructure. For ZTM Prime, I am Setachisiwe Gwaza in Masvingo.
Newsplus will be right back.
Welcome wherever you are. And Marmoush through to shoot. He well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Shado! Tarkowski! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Thank you very much for staying tuned to Newsplus. We appreciate your company. Now, in the first half of our news hour, we gave you all your local updates. It's time now to take a look at what's happening in the world around us. South African women have shared diverse perspectives on female growth, showcasing public attention to women's issues. And beyond screen productions, literature has also been a key inspiring source of spiritual strength for women.
So, a TV show that has inspired me the most is a show called Home Affairs. It is a South African TV show that debuted in the early 2000s. And this show basically chronicled the lives of 9 different women, highlighting the intersections that lie within women's experiences across the country. And the show touched on so many essential themes that are relevant and resonate with many women across the board, such as love, loss, trauma, poverty, career struggles, you name it.
As thousands of Sudanese refugees return home, they confront overwhelming challenges amid a worsening humanitarian crisis. Now, a recent report from the UN International Organization for Migration revealed that by the end of July, more than 1.5 million Sudanese people have been displaced internally, and that's since January.
And now people are starting to return on top of that. So it is going to take time, it's going to take resources, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to help this city get back on its feet again. Since reestablishing our presence in Khartoum, including opening this office just 3 months ago, WFP has scaled up our operations significantly. Between May and June, we managed to scale up to 1 million people who were reaching through the range of activities that I've highlighted: community kitchens, general food distributions, nutrition programs for mothers and children.
Despite significant progress in global women's development over decades, the current international situation remains turbulent, with persistent challenges including violence against women, gender discrimination, and economic inequality requiring collective international action. Now, China's permanent representative to the UN, Fu Kong, emphasized the need for international cooperation to advance women's development.
我们呼吁国际社会增强紧迫感，推动热点问题政治解决，为妇女营造和平安宁的生存环境。安理会要加强团结协作，履行维护国际和平与安全的首要职责，切实推动停火止战，推动政治和外交对话，为保障妇女安全创造更多条件。
Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesman Majid Al-Ansari says the future of Gaza and its people must remain in the hands of the Palestinians, who should have the freedom and right to determine their own future. He made these remarks while updating the progress of the ongoing indirect ceasefire talks between Israeli and Hamas delegations in Egypt, noting that it is too early to discuss the results.
العقبات الآن هي في التطبيق، وبالتالي يجب أن ننشغل جميعا بإيجاد حالة عملية في التطبيق تضمن أن يكون تطبيق سريعا بما يضمن دخول دولي ووجود دولي على الأرض في قطاع غزة، يضمن أن يكون التطبيق والمراقبة عمليات آلية وعمليات سريعة، وأن لا تكون هناك فراغات زمنية تؤدي إلى انتكاس الوضع في قطاع.
Those were your global updates, and coming up in business shortly, Estate Agents Council warns public against bogus property dealers.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block, and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Newsplus now gives you your updates in the business world. In the face of the proliferation of bogus real estate agents and fraudulent land sales across Zimbabwe's metropolitan areas, the Estate Agents Council is urging citizens to verify the credentials of property agents before engaging in any transactions to avoid being duped. And appearing on the Mint, Estate Agents Council Registrar, Mr. Alex Chidindi, said the council is stepping up public awareness and enforcement efforts to curb illegal practices in the sector.
That's very true that we are having a phenomenal growth in bogus estate agents which are fleecing people or who are fleecing people of their hard-earned cash. But as the Estate Agents Council, we are imploring and we are encouraging the members of the public that they should deal with duly registered estate agencies, and if they are in doubt, they can check with the Estate Agents Council on the status of registration of any property or estate agent they would want to engage. For you to test for authenticity, there is some documentation that you need to check. So first and foremost, you check for the registration certificate of the principal registered agent. I will put it in perspective that every estate agent's firm should have a principal registered estate agent, normally called the PRIA in short.
Now, Chidindi also shared some tips on how to identify bogus real estate agents, highlighting the need to deal with registered developers.
They should satisfy themselves that the person that they are dealing with are either registered developers or registered estate agents. And once they confirm that, then they can proceed. But they should also take note of those who possibly want to quickly demand for payment. Those who want to quickly demand for payment or to conclude the transaction, because it's
closing the deal.
Closing the deal, exactly. That's the word. When you find that, it's a red flag. Because usually those who are not legit, they move with speed so that the transaction ends quickly. So in my parting words, I would say, deal with registered estate agents. And if you are not sure, check with the Estate Agents Council.
Still on our business updates, miners listed on South Africa's main stock exchange rose strongly on Wednesday, buoyed by the global gold prices surge above $4,000 an ounce for the first time. Now, Goldfields and AngloGold Ashanti closed up more than 3% on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, while Harmony Gold ended more than 2% higher. And gold, which is traditionally seen as a store of value during times of instability, has hit record highs because of economic uncertainty, as well as expectations of U.S. interest rate cuts. Now, the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, has lowered the central bank rate, CBR, by 25 basis points to 9.25%. That's its lowest level since January 2023, marking an unprecedented 8th consecutive cut since February 2024, when the benchmark stood at 13%. Now, this cumulative 375 basis point reduction represents the longest easing streak in CBR's history. The Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, chaired by Governor Dr. Kamau Tuge, said the decision reflects continued easing to stimulate lending and sustain economic recovery, while also keeping inflation expectations anchored. Stay tuned to Newsplus for some entertainment updates.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Zimbabwe has officially named the 5 artists who will represent the country at the 61st International Art Exhibition of La Biennale de Venezia, set for 2026. This announcement was made recently by the Minister of Arts and Culture, Anselm Sanyatwe, during a press briefing held at the National Gallery of Zimbabwe in Harare.
Felix Shumba, Eva Rath, Gideon Gomo, Franklin Zingai and Pardon Mapondera were announced as the Zim representatives for the exhibition World Cup. The Venice Biennale is widely regarded as one of the most important platforms for contemporary art on the global stage. Arts Minister Anselm Sanyatwe held the pavilion of Zimbabwe for the strides it has made in ensuring Zimbabwean talent is showcased on international scale. He described the initiative as a highly valuable cultural exchange, crucial for advancing image building and re-engagement efforts.
Tarisa Studio and the Post Studio, just to mention but a few. These have aided to the ecosystem of the cultural heritage's value chain through the employment of youth, training, upskills, development, and the global marketing.
One of the selected participants, Frank Zingai, said he has hopes to raise the Zimbabwean flag on the international platform.
So for me, as an artist, I'm hoping to make Zimbabwe great.
Minister Sanyatwe called on Zimbabweans to develop more engaging projects that fit to publicize the crucial work being carried out by Pavilion Zimbabwe and the country.
As Zimbabweans, the exhibition of Zimbabwe at this year's edition aligns with the National Development Strategy 1 and feeds into the National Development Strategy number 2 under the creative and the cultural industries.
Some believe that the pavilion has been central in availing matters that were more often than not closed over. For Eva Rath, her priority is to champion advocacy on issues affecting women and children.
We started on my work for the exhibition in Venice. It's very meaningful to others, to women, to humanity.
Zimbabwe's participation at the exhibition global stage marks a significant step in the country's ongoing re-engagement efforts. For ZTM Prime, I am Satachi Siwegwaza.
Popular Zimbabwean rapper Saint Flo has been admitted to Corporate 24 Hospital in Harare, where he is receiving medical attention after falling seriously ill. Now, the development was confirmed by businessman and music promoter Tinashe Mtarisi, who shared the news on his social media platforms. And according to Mtarisi, St. Flo, real name Tafadzwa Kadzimwe, was admitted after his condition worsened over the weekend. He is reportedly unable to speak at the moment and is under close medical supervision. Now, his fans have been sharing their thoughts and prayers all over social media. Newsplus will be right back with your sports news.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. So Erika, like where you're sitting. Better faces, so personal music Afro music
and I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
It's 2 days before the Warriors face off with Bafana Bafana in a 2026 FIFA World Cup Group C qualifier at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban, South Africa. And while the match is a dead rubber for the Warriors, it is a must-win for Bafana Bafana. And Warriors Vice Captain Marshall Munetsi says they are motivated to make their fans proud as they look ahead to December's AFCON finals in Morocco. Munetsi has been in good form for his English Premier League side Wolves since being moved to a more central attacking midfield role by head coach Vitor Pereira. And Warriors fans will be hoping he can translate that to national team colours against Bafana Bafana.
I think it's a special game, even like when your parents are telling you that you guys cannot lose. So I think it's more of redeeming ourselves and also, making our supporters happy, making the country happy, because we also haven't been having the best of results. So I think for us, it's more of playing for our pride, making sure that we make Zimbabwe happy, because obviously everybody feels like it's a dead rubber, but we need to get a good result against them because they are our direct opponents, especially the AFCON. It's more of like feeling the ball, passing the ball around, a bit of movement, because some of us traveled for quite a long trip yesterday, so I think we couldn't do much today, just also to do some set piece and, try to see what the coach is planning for the game, because obviously tomorrow we won't be able to do much at the stadium because, in African football there's always eyes, especially when you want to do tactics, so I think it's just more of tactics and feeling the ball today. I think it's just to come and support us and enjoy a good game, because I think it's going to be special. It feels like a final for South Africa, but it also feels like a game that we have to show our pride, we have to make our supporters happy. So I think it's, they just have to keep on supporting us. I know we haven't been doing quite well, but we did our best, especially when it came to the AFCON qualifiers, but also the World Cup. We have been very much unfortunate, but I think now it's more of us preparing for the future and focusing on the games that are coming up, but it starts with a big one on Friday.
Now, as one of the senior players in the Warriors squad who is playing in one of Europe's top leagues, Munetsi understands the pressure that comes with it, especially facing a Bafana side that is made up of mostly South African-based players.
Leagues, if you check most of the other countries, they do have players who are playing in big leagues, but they struggle. Look at Nigeria in our group. obviously on paper everybody thought because they have guys playing in the big leagues they would make it to the World Cup, but I think it's more of trying to take each game as it comes, no matter even if you're playing in the South of South Africa, like sometimes experience doesn't count, when it comes to games, because young people also without experience do have the hunger and the passion to win games. So I think it's more of just taking it one step at a time and also trying to use every bit of experience that I got, but for me this is also another experience that I've learned, that your experience in top football doesn't really help you when it comes to this kind of games.
German-based midfielder Jonah Fabisch will be among the players looking to impress head coach Michael Nies. And Fabisch missed the last World Cup qualifiers against Benin and Rwanda due to an injury and will provide more options for Nies in midfield.
But you could see that we have players who like to be between the lines, we have defenders who like to play forward, and goalkeepers who also have the eye for the midfielder, so we definitely have chances to play through midfield and have combinations through midfield, so that's definitely a plus if you're a player who wants the ball. And obviously it's not the only part of the game, you also have to have a defensive shape, have defensive intensity, and I think that's what we want to bring in the next match. Position you are on the table, we definitely want to win, and obviously show ourselves to the coach, to our fans, to our country, and just give our best and win the match. So that's why it's definitely important, and for me, I haven't had much experience with the national team, so every match is a blessing and is worth giving your best.
Meanwhile, Bafana Bafana head coach Hugo Broos is happy to have experienced players Khuliso Modau and Pepelo Stole back with him for the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup Group C qualifiers against Zimbabwe and Rwanda. Now, Stole and Modau were both key members of the Bafana side, which finished third at the last Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Defensive midfielder Stole, however, has not played for Broos' side since breaking his leg in 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against South Sudan. That was over a year ago. And Modau was a regular member of the Bafana squad until the start of the season. The 30-year-old right back, however, was omitted by Broos as he was left on the sidelines by Sundowns in a dispute over a failed transfer to the Middle East. Still on sport, ZIFA President Nqobile Magwizi has been appointed to serve on the FIFA Commercial and Marketing Advisory Committee, a key global body that provides strategic guidance on FIFA's commercial and marketing activities. Now, this appointment, made in line with the provisions of the FIFA statutes and FIFA governance regulations, will see Magwizi serve a 4-year term from 2025 to 2029. Now, the FIFA Commercial and Marketing Advisory Committee plays an instrumental role in shaping strategies that drive the growth, visibility, and sustainability of the global game through marketing innovation, through sponsorship, and also fan engagement. Moving on to another sports update, 20 teams are set to compete in this year's edition of the Safari Sevens. Zimbabwe is among the 12 men's teams and 8 teams that have confirmed participation in the tournament set for Nyayo National Stadium in Kenya from the 10th to the 12th of October. A 12-men Cheetahs Academy side has been named, with Dion Kumalo, Edward Sigauke, Tapiwa Malenga, and Trevor Gure being among the notable inclusions. We spoke to Zimpaper's Sports Hub rugby analyst Ruvimbo Chakoreka, who gave us a preview of the Cheetahs Academy side that is set to do duty in Kenya.
Very exciting lineup that we see. Of course, many of the names that we would have expected to be there, most likely being led by Tapiwa Malenga, who had been doing the leading before all of this restructuring, which is happening, of course, at Zimbabwe Rugby Union, but it hasn't affected the teams as such. And of course, names such as Ryan Musumi also making the side. But I think what has been quite notable and what has been really good has been the inclusion of the young man that is called Tavonga Abland. Now, for those of you that may not know, Tavonga Abland was banned from rugby activities for 3 years after he tested positive for a banned substance. That was when the Junior Sables actually went to the Canada tour, or just after the Canada tour, and looking to head into the World Rugby Junior Trophy. And unfortunately, that brought a halt to what was a bright prospect, considering that he, alongside Edward Sigauke, had actually done damage in the 2 Butters Trophy winning years. So ultimately for him, it really became a bit of a tough nut there for him to actually go through. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he's back into rugby activities. He's actually also part of the Grid Cup, which has been introduced more recently, and I think this is going to be a really good test for him at the Kenya Safari Sevens.
The football season run-in is well underway, with a real scramble for the sole tickets to the Premier Soccer League up for grabs in the 4 regions of Division 1 football. That's a much tighter race rages on in the Eastern region, with Masvingo United leading the pack by a point with 61 points, whilst Hunters are a stone's throw away as they sit second with 60 points. 10X are a further 2 points behind, but very much in the mix of things, with only 3 games to play. Now, the final 3 games of the season will see all the promotion chasing sides go head-to-head in what will be a nail-biting finish to the Eastern Region Soccer League season. And that's a wrap on Newsplus this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. It's a good night from myself and the crew behind the scenes.